Hi everyone. Today is Salesforce Consulting and Admin Training Day 15. So let's see what are we going to learn today. Today our focus is going through the previous session, just quick overview of the previous session. Then we'll talk about the permission set. What is the permission set? How to create a permission set? What are the properties of permission set? Then we will see the profile differences between the profile and permission set. And then we will talk about the permission set group. What is the permission set group? How to create a permission set group? And what are the properties of permission set group? And then we will see roles. When do we use the role? And how to create a role? And differences between the profile and role. And then properties of role. Conclusion, quiz, homework, and interview questions. Quickly, what did we learn in the last class?
Development, issue types in Jira, issue types in ServiceNow, user in Salesforce.
Profile and user differences between and
Standard profile, custom
properties
profile.
of profile,
object level permissions, field level permissions.
Right. So those are the topic that we have focused on. So let's continue today. So we will see today permission set. So what is the profile that we have learned last time? What is the profile? What does profile do?
User can do in Salesforce.
Profile is
It is a group of settings
group of
and permission that defines what a user can do in Salesforce.
Set of permissions, what user can do. Right? So whereas a permission set extend the functionality of users without changing their profile. So that means at the profile level, I have a limited access. So profile is where we have a create, read, edit, delete, view all, modify all. These all we can do it, right? So for example, profile has a less permission. Let's assume that on the account level, there is a read permission. Okay, so by using the permission set, we can extend the functionality. We can extend the permissions to the specific users without changing the profile. Okay, so using the permission set, we can grant additional access to the specific users on top of their existing profile permissions. So without modifying the existing profile, create a new profile or grant an administrator profile where it is not necessary. So what is that means? Let me open the Paint. For example, right now we have created the profile. Assume that there is a profile. Profile ABC is there. So on this profile, we have given the access. Assume that app level, we have just given the sales application, and then we have given the marketing. So these two apps, Lightning apps, we have enabled. And account level, only read access. Lead level, only read access. And opportunity, read access. Okay, this is the profile is created. And this profile is currently, it is assigned to a user. Assume that there is a user. So there are two users. This profile is assigned to two users. User 1, user 2. This profile is assigned to user 1 and user 2. Now, after some time, what happens is this user, what are the user 2 is there? User 2 says that I need additional access on the opportunity. Or let's say user 2 says that I need I wanted to see additional lightning application that exists in the Salesforce. I wanted to see all the applications, but user one does not want to see. So in that case, instead of modifying this profile, or instead of creating the additional profile, creating the additional profile is a that we used to do when the Salesforce has launched. But right now, making the or creating the new profile is not a good idea. It's not a easy, it's not a good way to create another profile. Just making that, because this user 2 is asking the additional application and opportunity level, this user needs a edit access. Because of this, should I need to go ahead and create a profile? It's not necessary, because we are not changing any other access. We are just changing the additional application and opportunity. So we do not need to create a profile. Instead of that, what I can do is I can create a permission set. There is a permission set. I can create a permission set. In this permission set, I can assign an additional lightning application that user 2 wants to see. And what are the edit access on the opportunity level? I can create this, and then I can assign this permission set to the user instead of creating a profile. So this is how, why we use it, permission set. Permission set is to extend the user access on top of the profile. Then we will create a permission set and we will assign the permission set to the user 2. So permission set controls object permission, field permission, user permissions, tab settings, app settings, and Apex classes and Visualforce pages. So by using the permission set, I can control all of this. All of this, I can control it. Object permission, field permission, user permission, tab setting, app setting, Apex classes, Visualforce. So these all we can control it using the permission set. Now let's go ahead and see how to create a permission set. Creating a permission set, set up users permission set and click on a new button. There is a button called new. So when we click on the new button, new window gets it is redirected to the new window. So in this window, there are two sections. One is a enter permission set information. Second one is a license related. Select the type of user who will use this permission set. Now let's focus on the first one, enter permission set information. So the first one is a label. Label, API name. API name is basically auto-populated. Label is name of the permission set. As soon as we enter the name of the permission set, hit enter, automatically the API name gets created automatically wherever the space is there, which will be replaced with the underscore. And then description. Description is if you wanted to give a what is this permission set? Why are we creating this permission set? In that case, we can specify the description. And the second one is section activation required. Section activation required is this should be checked, because if this is checked, what will happen? This will make the permission set as a session-based permission set. That means if I check this, whenever the user is logged in, for example, this, whatever the permission set I'm creating it, assume that I'm assigning this permission set to the user. If user is assigned to this permission set where I have this checkbox is checked, this checkbox session activation required is checked. So what will happen? Till the person is there in the session, this permission, whatever is there, it will be applied. As soon as I close my session, as soon as the user closes this session, immediately the permission set will be deactivated. So this will make permission set as session-based permission set. So it is based on the session-based permission set. And the next one is a license. Now, license for creating a permission set, license is not mandatory. License is not mandatory. So why we have a license here? Basically, if you want to select a type of user, when I say type of user, whenever we are creating a user, right? So while creating the user, we mention the license. We mention license. Whenever we are creating the user, we mention the license. So there are different licenses that we have seen. Assume that there is a license called Salesforce and there is a license called read-only. Okay, assume that these two are there. Now, for this Salesforce license, there are 2 users are there. For read-only, there are assume that 5 users are there. Now, I want this permission set should be applicable only for the read-only users. Only for read-only users. If any user is trying to access this permission set, if we do not want any user to access this permission set, for example, if license Salesforce user, okay, where the user has a Salesforce license, if this user is trying to access this permission set, it should not accept. System should throw an error if this person is trying to access this permission set, because this permission set is created for only the read-only users. So read-only users is also having the sales license, okay, Salesforce license. Assume that this license is Salesforce platform license. Okay, this license is Salesforce platform license. There is a one user, which is 2 users who are having the Salesforce platform license, and 5 users who has a read-only, and the license is Salesforce license. Now I have created this permission set by adding the Salesforce license. Now, whoever the users has a license Salesforce, only those users able to accept this permission set. No other users will not be accepted, because we are selecting the license here. So in conclusion, user license, what are the user's licenses there? That user license has to match with the permission set license. If you do not specify the license, that's okay. Anybody can access this permission set. But if you have mentioned the license here, in that case, whatever the license is there on the permission set level has to match with user license. On the user level license. Clear? Any questions? Before we go on practice, any questions?
After how to add particular users?
Particular users, we cannot assign it. Basically, it is a license dependent. I'll just show you that.
I mean, like, for example, I'm having 5 licenses. Out of 5, for one only, I wanted to apply this permission set.
Out of 5, you wanted to apply only 1 user. You can assign it. That is a manual task. You can do that.
Okay, maybe in user level, do I need to perform that?
Yeah. So let's see that. So in order to create a permission set, go to setup, user, permission sets. Okay. Permission set, right now we are seeing that 25, these are the by default created by Salesforce. Based on your Salesforce edition, these will be automatically added by the Salesforce. Now I'm going to create a new one. Okay, before creating a new one, last week we had created a user, and that user we have updated the specific profile. Let's open that. So the user is this. So we had created this user, and this user has a profile called Tata Sales Admin. Now this Tata Sales Admin, let's go to the profile. So on the profile level, if you click on edit, okay, custom app setting. Okay, custom app setting, I have marketing and sales lightning application. Only 2 applications are available. Now assume that there is a requirement came that they wanted to see all the application. One of the user wanted to see all the application. So similar to this scenario, user 1, user 2 is assigned to the profile called Tata Sales Admin. So this Tata Sales Admin is profile is applied to user 1 and user 2. Now user 2 wanted to see all the application that exist in the Salesforce. So for that we are going to create a new permission set. Now before that, let me log in as this end user. So right now I have logged in as this user. Okay, and if I click on this view all, now how many applications I can see? Only 2 applications I can see. So now what I'll do is I'll log in as a system admin. This is the system admin. Now I'll go to the permission set. In the permission set, click on a new button. Okay, so I'm going to create a new permission set here. So enter permission set information. This is one section, and the second one is a type of user who will use this permission set. So the first one I'm going to select here the label. So let's say that app permission set. I'm creating the app permission set. So let's say that this permission set handle all applications. Now this has to be checked. It is a session dependent. And next, select the type of user who will use this permission set. Who will use this permission set? Choose none. In case if you have a plan to assign this permission set to multiple users with a different user and permission set license. That means if you select here none, you can assign this permission set to any user. You can assign it to multiple users. Now, if you choose a specific user license, when you say user license here is nothing but, so we have a different user license like a Salesforce platform, right? These are the licenses. So if you choose any license, that means if you want user with only one license type to use the permission set, only one license type to use the permission set. So let's take, we'll see this license part later. So next one is a choose a specific permission set license. If you want this permission set license, auto assigned with permission set. Auto assigned with permission set. So it has a both. One is user license. The second one is permission set license as well. It has a permission set license as well. Now, for now, let's go without selecting the license because license is not mandatory most of the time in the real time. So let's click on save. I have just given the permission set label and then the session is activated. Now, once it is created, we will see permission set. We have a permission set overview. This is what we have given. Okay, license, we did not apply anything. And the first thing we will see is apps. Whatever this card is there, right? This block, it's a apps. And the second one is a system. First one is app, second one is a system. So this one is all system related permission. This one is all related to what user is able to access on the apps, object, fields, suffix classes, visual force, data flows, lightning flows, all this custom permission, everything we can handle in the apps. So right now, the requirement is they wanted to see all the applications. So what I did is, let me go back. So first I went to the permission set overview. So when I went to the permission set, I can see all these applications, all these options I can see. Now, right now we are only focused on apps. For related to app setting, we have an option called assigned apps. So assigned apps, I clicked on assigned apps. If you wanted to switch to the any other, you need not to go back to the permission set overview. You need not to go back to the permission set. For example, I'm clicking on the object setting. Now, once I placed into the object setting, then I felt that maybe I should go in different place. So instead of going back to the permission set overview, what you can do is you can click on this arrow button. So you can click on this assigned apps. So that what will happen, instead of doing the multiple clicks, you can directly switch your what are the custom changes you wanted to make it on the permission set, you can switch it here. Now, items per page. So we have maximum 1,000 items. Now here, assigned apps, right now there is nothing. There is nothing. Okay, so I'll click on edit. When I click on edit, I can see all the available apps here. All the available apps. So Samskar IT, right? Sales is already there. So we have a service. So everything I can see. So what I'll do is by default right now, I'll say Control A, add it. Let's click on it, save. I just updated the permission set. I just updated the permission set. So all the apps I have assigned. Till this point, any questions assigning the apps? Okay. So once the permission set is created, okay, once the permission set is created, the permission set has to be associated with user. So this is my permission set. So right now what I have done is I just created the permission set. I just created the permission set. It's right now, it's sitting in the org. It's in the org, but I need to link this permission set to user. I need to link this permission set to user. User is already have the profile linked. It is already, profile is already linked. Profile is already linked. There is an active user who is already working in the Salesforce, who are performing some actions. So this is already linked. The profile is already linked to the user. Now, I need to link the permission set. I need to link the permission set. Okay, I need to link the permission set. So whatever I have created the permission set, app permission set, that needs to be linked to user. Now, how can I link to user? There are multiple ways you can do it, linking the user. Either you can directly go to the permission set and assign the user here. In the permission set, you can directly assign the user, or else if you do not want to do that, what you can do is you can go to the user level. On the user level, we can assign the permission set. On the user level, while creating the user itself, if you wanted to assign the permission set, you can do it. Right? While creating the permissions, while creating the user, you can assign the permission set. Either you can assign directly here or here, both the ways you can do. But what is the use, like why we have it two places? For example, there is a requirement to create a 10 users. This is a real-time scenario. So for example, there is a requirement to 10 users. So what they said is first 5 users should assign to one permission set, and rest 5 users should be assigned to PS2. Okay. And there are few users which are already there in the system. Those also need to be assigned to PS1. So these are the existing users. 3 users are existing users. And these existing users plus I wanted 5 users who are the new one. Both should be assigned to PS1. Now, in this case, it is so difficult for us to manage at the user level, because after creating the user, I need to go to the, for example, existing users or 10 users are there or 20 users are there. So instead of going into the individual user and adding the permission set, better you can go to the permission set level and add all your users list here at a time. Now let's go ahead and assign the permission set to user. Now, right now I'm doing in the permission set level. So here we have a manage assignment. So when I click on a manage assignment, the first thing it will ask, add assignment. We have a edit, delete option is available. This will be enabled only when I see here there is already users are assigned here. In that case, these two buttons will be enabled. For the first time, if there are no users are assigned to permission set, we cannot see this button enabled. So these buttons are disabled. Now click on a add assignment. When I click on a add assignment, it will give all the list of users. All the list of users. Now, whatever the users I want, I can assign it by default. I can assign it by default, right? So for example, right now, I'm going to assign this to the user and click on it next. Now, one option that permission set has is expiry date. We can set the expiry date on the permission set. We can set expiry date on the permission set. Two options. If you do not want the expiry date, check this no expiration. But if you want to specify, like after 30th day, remove this access, remove the permission set from this user, remove the permission set from the user. So I can select it. And if you wanted to select the time zone, you can select whether the user is a Australia, New Zealand, or wherever the person is there, you can specify the time zone. So on 31st day onwards, this user will not be having access to permission set. You can select that option. Now, if client says that I do not want this kind of a setting, I do not want this kind of a setting, by default, it should go for the no expiration date. It should not ask me anything. It should not ask me anything. So in that case, we have an option. There is a configuration setting is there, which is user management. Yeah, user management setting. In the user management setting, we have an option where we can deal with whether the page should be displayed, the no expiry and specific expiry should be there or not. So here it is. Permission set and permission set group assignments with the expiration date. So this option will decide whether whenever the user or whenever the client or whenever the developer is assigning the user to the permission set on the permission set level, if we do not want the expiry date screen should be visible, in that case, what you can do is you can disable. If you disable that, what will happen is, let's refresh. Okay, let's go ahead and add assignment. I'm adding it again. So I'll select this. Click on next. It did not apply. Let's refresh again. Permission set. So which one we have created right now?
App permission set.
App permission set. Okay, manage assignments. So the screen has changed. See, before it was showing in a different, it was showing in a lightning view. Now observe this. Let me take a snipping of this. Right. So right now the screen is this add assignment. Add assignment. Now I can assign this. Assign it. It did not give me any option. Whether you wanted to expire this after 30 days, never expire, it did not give me. As soon as I selected, immediately done. Right? There is no expiration. In case if you wanted to remove it, you can remove it by selecting this. Perfect. This time it did not give me any, that screen did not come. Never expire, expire after 1 week, 1 day, 30 days, 60 days. Okay, that screen did not come. Now what I'll do is I'll enable this option again. Let's click on refresh. Okay, so let's go to the permission set. App permission set. Now manage assignment. Now the screen has changed. So before the screen was this. Add permission set, right? Current assignment. So this is the visual force view, classic view. And this is lightning view. Right? So before it was just a add assignment and remove assignment. So right now, add assignment, edit, remove is, instead of remove assignment, it is a button it came. So this screen has changed. Now if I click on add assignment, now if I select this and click on next, this time you will see the screen. Specify the expiration date. So I'll give it for 60 days, click on assign. So now the user has been assigned to permission set. Let's go back to the permission set. So now the user has been assigned to permission set. Now, in case if you wanted to do at the user level, you can go ahead and do it at the user level also. For example, this is the user, right? So on this user, we have an option called permission set assignment. We have an option called permission set assignment action required. Okay, set assignment action required. So either you can go to the edit assignment, you can assign the permission set, whatever the permission set if you wanted to assign, you can assign it. But if you do it at the permission set level, it will be showing here. So if you wanted to edit, remove anything, if you wanted to do, you can remove this. These are custom permissions. So from the user level, you can go either, if you wanted to add the standard one, you can go here, or else you can go to the permission set assignments. You can assign it and click on a save. That's it. Now I'll log in as an end user. Before, this is the end user. This is what he was seeing the app launcher. Now I'll quickly refresh. I'll refresh one more time. So right now I logged in as a different user, not a system admin, right? So different user, I logged in, and then I'll click on a view launch, view all. Still it is not applicable. Okay, let me log out and log in back. Let me check the user. Username. Here. Click on view all. Still I cannot see. What's the issue here? Edit the assignment. Okay, these are assigned. So let's see, let me do on the field level also. So object setting. Let's go to the so on this profile, okay, on this profile, we have a objects. So let's see the object. Okay, account level, create, edit, delete option is not available. So I'll enable those options here. Click on edit, create, edit, delete, save. So let's give the modify all, basically everything I'm giving, all the access. Now let's click on save, refresh. Why it is taking the time? Inspect, empty cache. App permission set. License we did not apply. Did we change anything apart from this? Install. Let me edit the properties required, save. Now let's refresh this. Yeah, now I can see. Okay, so the problem was the session based. So session activation required. So this was making the issue. So what I did is that I just edited. So once we created, if you wanted to make a changes of permission set, name, description, session activation required, if you need this, so what you can do is you can click on edit properties, uncheck that and click on save. So now the user is able to see all the applications, right? Everything he can see. Now let's go to the account. So Infosys, the user is able to, let's take another one. User is able to delete all the access is there. Now, if I remove the edit access from the account level, if I remove the edit access, so let's go to the object setting. Now account. Now let's go to the edit. I have removed all the access. Click on save. Now also on the profile level, I'll change the object access for the opportunity. For the opportunity, I'll remove the access of view all, modify all. On the opportunity, I'm changing this to view all, modify all, delete, edit. Okay, only the opportunity is read, create. Opportunity is read, create. Click on save. So I'll go to the opportunity. Let's refresh. Okay, so opportunity. Right, I cannot see the delete option here. On the opportunity level, do we have it at the system admin? Does system admin has the delete option? So let's go to the sales. So opportunity. I'm just opening one of the opportunity. Right, delete option is there. Delete option we can see, but whereas end user delete option is not there. Right, because at the profile level we made changes only read and create. Only read and create. If I remove the create, the new button will go away. If I remove the create, new button will go away. So let's go to the profile. Click on edit. I'm going to remove the create option also. For the opportunity, I'm removing the create. So click on save. Now let's refresh. My user is not able to see the new button. So what I'll do is the user is assigned to a permission set called app permission set, right? So by using this app permission set, I will extend the access. I will extend the access to the opportunity. So let's take an opportunity. I'm in permission set. Opportunities. So I'm clicking on edit. So what I'll do is I'll give all the access. Click on save. Now let's go back to the end user. As an end user, I'll refresh. Opportunity. Now new button is available. So profile level, create button is removed. But what opportunities, what permission set is doing it? Permission set is extending the access. Permission set is extending the access. So file, new, let's see the example. So what we are doing here is, this is a profile. This is profile. On the profile level, the access is limited. Access is limited. So what access we have limited? We have limited the access for the opportunity. For the opportunity, we just gave the read access. Rest all access we have removed. Create, read, edit, everything we have removed it. Now, how can I extend this access? There is a outer for this profile, which is, there is a outer is there, which is called as a permission set, which is called as a permission set. So this permission set, what it will do, it will extend the object level access, whatever the object level is there. This is the org. This is the org. The Salesforce org is there. This is Salesforce org. So what are the Salesforce org level access is there? So profile is inside and outer of this profile. If we have created any permission set will be outer of profile. So that means whatever the profile is sending to the user, for example, here user is logged into the Salesforce org. Whenever the user is logged in, from the center point of the access will be extended. So profile will be giving their access. And if the user has any permission set associated to it, then what it will do, it will take all the access, and on top of it, whatever the permission set has additional access, it will give that additional access to the user. So ultimately, the restricted, what are the limited access is there on the object level or on the field level, using the permission set, we can extend the access to the user. We can extend the access to the user. So for example, let's go to the account. Let's go to the one of the record, Infosys, details. Now here I can see facts information, the field is available, right? So what I'll do is, I'll remove this field on the profile level. I'll remove this field on the profile level. Using the permission set, I'll give the access. Using the permission set, I will give the access. Even the fields also, we can control it. Profile level, I can remove it. Profile level, I can go to the profile level. On the profile level, we have a field. So let's go to the profile. So here we have a field. So account, click on a view. So click on edit. I'm removing complete access to view also for the facts. Facts, employee, industry, right? All of this I'm removing it. I have removed it from the profile level. Now, if end user login, or refresh, the user will not see the facts, industry, these fields, they will not be able to see. They will not be able to see this. Right? After form, directly it is showing the website. The facts is not showing anything. Now using the permission set, what I can do is I can give the access to the user. So let's say we need facts, industry, employees. Let's click on save. Now, why do we need to handle the field level also on the permission set? In real time, there is a requirement that number of users will be having a same profile. Number of users, for example, user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. All these users are connected to the same profile. All these users are connected to the same profile. But out of these 4 users, one of the user need additional information that they wanted to see. Maybe the requirement, it came from the higher management to this user. Can you give me certain data? So that data is not available. So what this user will do is, this user will request, can you give me more access to view all the fields on the object? So what I have to do is, the person is already having the access to the profile. Now I need to give the additional access by creating the permission set. So the combination of profile and permission will be given access to only this user. Only this user. The access to this user, user 1, user 2, user 4 does not change. We should not impact the existing users, but user 3 requirement, whatever the request is there, we should fulfill that request for the user 3. So for that purpose, we might have to touch the fields also. So let's go ahead and see that. So I'm logging in as an end user, click on refresh. So details, it is not coming, let's hold on. Okay, so empty cache, hard refresh. So let's give modify all, create. Okay, let's refresh details. Okay. Inspect empty cache, hard refresh. Sometimes it is take the time. Okay, it is taking time. In case if you still do not see, there is a system permissions. There is a system permissions. In the system permissions, we have a certain permissions. We have certain information. If you wanted to see all the fields or not, if you wanted to override, for example, emails. So whenever I go to the email part, so for example, if I go to the opportunity and if I open the opportunity, so here I cannot see the email. I have an option called new task, log a call, new event. For example, I need an email. So in that case, we have one of the option here in the permission set, which is a system permission set. Right now I'm into the system permission set and related to the emails, send email. I need to edit it. So there is a send email. I'll check this send email. If I check that send email, also there will be another option called mass email. So I have checked send email and mass email. Click on save. Yeah, so it will ask at the permission set level. That is enabled app permission, system permission, mass email, edit task, send email. These are the permissions were edited. So what it is saying is, do you want to save this permission? Make sure to review the permission before you continue. So this permission can impact org security user experience. So definitely, if you are making any changes related to the system permission or app permission, this is the issue we will get it, right? Especially for the system permission, because if we change anything, it will be impacted to the user. So for now, I'll click on a save and let's go back to this end user. Now end user should be able to see the email button. So here is the email button. So the email button is available right now. Okay, any questions on the permission set?
Ma'am, can you please explain the session activation?
Okay. Session activation, for example, user is already in org. Okay. And if we create a permission set, and if I assign this permission set by enabling this, so the person cannot be able to view the updated permission set result.
Okay.
Okay, so he need to log out. Sometimes it still not be activated. Probably he need to log in from the another incognito or another Google Chrome, where the session, everything will be changed at the backend. Even the Chrome also should not have any cache. So he need to refresh everything, then only it will be logged in. If you uncheck this, if you uncheck and create a permission set, immediately the impact will be there. Though the person is already logged into the Salesforce, as soon as I create a permission set without selecting the session activation required, and if I assign this permission set to the user, the result will be immediately the user will be able to see. So it will give the option on the whenever we create it. So permission set. So let's assume I'm creating the new one. So when I create it here, we have apply the permission set only when user sessions meet specified criteria. So there is a specified criteria. If it is meeting the session criteria along with this criteria, then only it will applicable those permission set, whatever we have applied. But mostly we will not check that. But in case if you wanted to make sure that right user is logged in, and there is some user sessions are there. Like we have a user sessions, right? If you go to the user level, there will be a specific session settings will be there. So if I go here, user, at the bottom, you will have a session settings. And that's on the profile level. So if I scroll down,
Ma'am, a certain quick find box, ma'am. Okay.
yeah. So certain conditions will be applied for that permission set. So better not to check, but in case if you have a specific condition that needs to be matched, then only check that option.
Okay, ma'am.
Any other questions before I move on?
Yeah, Swapna, can you just please explain what is the system permission set you said? I did not understand it properly. Why did you enable the email access?
System permission.
Yeah, system permission set. You did no some changes in system permission set. Permission set.
So inside the permission set, so let's go to the profile level. So profile level, we have a permission set that are divided. Basically, there is a, let me go to the data sales admin. Okay, page layout. Then we have a field level security. Then we have a tab settings, record type, administrative permissions. Administrative permissions are nothing but a system permissions. So not all of them, and there is a general user permissions. Similarly, in the permission set also, we have that kind of a division. So when we go to the system permissions, so if I go to the app permission set, okay, in app permission set, okay. Now, if I wanted to enable the email option, now the user was not able to send an email. Now I wanted to enable that. Can I do it using the assigned apps? The option will not be available on the apps. Can I do it on the assigned contact apps? No. Object setting, I cannot do it. App permission, what is the app permission? Can I do the checkbox, send email, mass email? Can I enable? Because the requirement is the user want to send an email. But right now the user is not able to see the email option to send an email to the user. Now in the app permissions, am I able to see the email option here? Okay, there is something which is, we are not sure about this right now. And this is also, we are not sure about this. So that is not the requirement. Manage cases, no, I don't want this manage case email anything. So app permission set is also not giving. Apex classes, no, I'll not get the send email option. Visual Force page, definitely no. External data source access, no. Flow, no. Custom permissions, is there anything on the custom permissions which I can enable the send email button, send email option? Custom permissions, what it is, does it show the send email option or not? So this is basically, it's a different part altogether. So whenever we are discussing the custom settings, that time we will come. So it will not display here. Now, system permissions. What are the things which is sitting here? So permissions to perform action that applies across the apps, such as a modify all. So we have a certain checkboxes where it is dealing as a system permissions. So one of the options that we have enabled is sending a single email, sending an email and sending a mass email. Right, so API enabled and reports. These all where we have seen at the profile level, mass email, merge topic. Where did we see these all are? These all are in the administrative permission. In the administrative permission, we have a API enabled. For example, you disable this. So what I can do is, if any of the user needed, then I can create a permission set to enable the API enabled. And here we have a mass email. So there is a mass email, send email options are available. So in case if it is deactivated here, which I can do it using the permission set by enabling the system permissions.
Finish.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on. Properties of permission set. So permission set always true. That means you cannot decrease the access. You cannot decrease the access. The access only extendable. Only it is extendable. If you have a profile level, create, edit, you have all options, all CRUD operations are there. Create, read, edit, delete, view all, modify all, everything is there. Now using the permission set, can I reduce the access of this particular user? No. Profile is, we can do it, but permission set only to extend. We cannot decrease it. We cannot reduce the access. We cannot reduce the access. It is only for extending the access. And one user can have a multiple permission set. One user can have multiple permission set, whereas one permission set can also have a multiple users, right? So it is many to many. If you go to the user level, you can assign the multiple permissions to the user. If you go to the permission set, you can assign the multiple users to the same permission set. Now, permission set used to grant permission temporarily or a long time to specify the fields. That option we have seen. If you want to specify a particular permission set, and if you wanted to maintain that permission set for that user only for 60 days or 30 days, we have a configuration user management setting. In that, if you disable it, it will not allow this option, long-term or temporary. And license is not mandatory while creating the permission set. It is not mandatory, but after creating the permission set, license type cannot be changed. license type cannot be changed. Now let me go ahead and create one permission set with the license. So let's go ahead and create new. I'm just creating a new permission set. So this I'll be adding the Salesforce platform. So let's click on save. Now I'll click on a manage assignment and click on add assignment. It is showing all the users. Now let me assign this user. One assigned failed. See the status message. Failure, cannot assign the permission set to this user. User license does not match. Because this user has a license of Salesforce. But the permission set which I have created is Salesforce platform. The permission set which I have created is Salesforce platform. So we cannot assign, if you are creating a permission set for the specific user license or a permission set license, in that case, you cannot assign that particular license permission to any other user. You cannot assign it. So only whatever this user is there, whatever this particular license user is there, only that user you can assign it. Now, who are the user that has Salesforce platform? Salesforce platform user, we have Swapna. So let's go ahead and assign that manage assignment. Click on add assignment. Now I'm assigning this to Swapna. Let's click on save. Assign it. Successful. Because both the license are matching. Permission set license is matching, user license is matching. So in that case, you can assign it. Now, differences between the profile and permission set. What is the difference between the profile and permission set?
Ma'am, I have
Yeah.
a doubt. Ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, we have created a permission set for a particular user. We have in that we have given the like 10 app applications.
Mm-hmm.
In some time I in my manager level or anything we have decided to reduce that two apps for that particular they can't see that two apps.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to remove that two apps in middle of after assigning the permission set to the particular user?
Okay, so your requirement is you have a 5 users. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, out of the 5 users, you have a manager who does not want to see specific apps.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? But all the 5 members has a permission set. Same permission set.
Yes.
What you can do is you can create another permission set and assign it to this user. You can remove the existing one.
Okay, ma'am. In this same question, I have another doubt, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Like we in the permission set we have some like some fields, some object access, like contact opportunity case, some customer standard object, but I need to in middle of to remove that case object only to that user can't see the case object, but after this is the after assignment. Can you remove that only case object in the permission set?
All the users who are assigned to that permission set, everybody does not need that case object, or only few.
Only one candidate, one user only can't see that case object.
He
Need to
cannot
create.
see that, or he doesn't want to see.
He doesn't want to see it.
Okay, so in that case, better create a new permission set. See, creating the permission set you can handle. There is another way to decide it. Okay, in case if you have a certain conditions like out of 5 users, only 3 users I wanted to see few object information and 2 users I do not want to see the user object. In that case, better create a profile which has a less access. So here the less access is for the 2 users. So create a profile for less access, and for the whoever needs the additional access, create a permission set for them. So you need to decide, if I have a 10 users, so that is the discussion is going to happen with the client. Whenever we are creating the profile or permission set, the discussion happens. How many users are there? How many users are going to assign this profile? All the 10 users needed this access or not? So if they say that no, 8 users needed the all the CRUD operations, but the 2 user does not need any operation. User does not need, like 2 users just need a create and read access, and rest all users I need all the access. In that case, what we will do is, what are the basic settings, the less settings are there, with that we will create a profile, and we will tell them that whoever needs additional access, so for them we have created a permission set. So you can assign the permission set whoever you think that is required for the additional access. This is how the in real time the discussion happens.
Yeah.
But in between, once we deliver this to the production, again they come back saying that we need a less access, or we need a more access per out of this user. One user need a more access or less access. In that case, again what we will do is we will tell them to create a permission set, another permission set. Usability of profile should be less, because we should always create a profile with a less access. And extend the access, you can create a n number of permission set. So you can create n number of permission set using the, if they have a multiple requirement, you can create it.
Ma'am, we will modify all there, ma'am. Like we have 2 options. Is it for only system admin, or will give the any user?
Any user. So it's not a system admin. When you are working, you will be having a different groups. For example, you are taking a SIM card. Okay, so your phone is not working, or your mobile number is not working, or it has some problem. So what you will do, there is a separate team who handles the issues, and there is a separate team who handles the bill and everything. So in every company, there are different groups who are dedicated to work on only specific work, right? So in that case, we have a different teams. One is a support team, service team, or a different technical team, different teams we have. So all these teams will be having a different profiles will be assigned. And permission set, you can create maximum 200, up to 200 permission sets you can create it. Up to 200 permission sets you can create it.
Ma'am, for each user, we can create only one permission set, right?
Yes, each user one permission set. But in the real time, we will be having a group of user who is performing the permission set activities. I mean, who are having the same access. So they will not tell us to create one user, one permission set. They will give us the group of the user. They will tell that 20 users or 1,000 users need this access. So can I move on?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see differences between the profile and permission set. So profile have a most restrictive settings and permissions a user assigned to this profile, right? So profile is basically it have a restricted access, whereas permission set has a extended access on top of the profile. And a user should have assigned to profile. That means whenever we are creating the user, so we can assign only one profile to the user. A user can have only one profile assigned, whereas permission set we can assign more than one permission set. And every user must be assigned to profile. Permission set, it is not necessary. If you have a requirement, you can add the permission set. Otherwise, you can no need of adding the permission set. So these are the basic differences. Okay. So permission set group. Next one is a permission set group. Before permission set group was not there. Okay, before 2020, the permission set group was not there. In spring 20 onwards, Salesforce introduced a permission set group. Salesforce introduced permission set group. So what is this permission set group? Permission set group is nothing but which is combining the multiple sets into the single permission set group for user assignment. So whatever we are creating, the 10 permission set, 20 permission set, or 30 permission set, I can combine everything into the group. I can combine everything into the group and I can assign those permission set to the group. And we can assign this at a time, we can assign this group to the user. So basically, let's assume that I have a permission set A and permission set B and permission set C. I have these different permission sets are there. Now the requirement is there is a one user who needs the access of permission set A, permission set B, permission set C. Basically, these permission sets are some access we are extending on top of the profile. Let's assume that just now we have discussed the custom apps, right? Applications, whatever we have extended, and email, and one more thing, field or object level, we have extended it. And also this user, we have given the permission set. Now, after 2 days, another user has joined the company. Another user has joined the company. Now we created that user. Again, we spent a lot of time to understand what are the permission sets we need to assign that particular user. So finally, we have identified that that user also needs this 3 permission set. That means if I have a 20 or 30 permission set in real time, assume that real time we might have a hardly 10 or 5 permission set. So assume that there are 5 permission set or 10 permission sets. Okay. So if I have this permission set, whenever the new user is joining the company, or whenever new user is, they said that, okay, I have joined as a certain profile. I have joined as a certain profile and I need access. So every time, and this will not happen frequently, whatever the permission set, profile, permission set group, whatever these works are there, these work we will not be doing every day in the real time. This is a one-time setup. If I'm doing this one-time setup starting of the year, probably in the next year or in the December or in April month, during that time, very hardly will spend on the time here. Now, the work which I have done in the January, how can I remember what are the permissions that I have assigned to that user in December, right? I cannot remember that. Only one way is I have to go to that user and check what are the permissions that it is assigned to that user. Same users, I need to assign it to this user also. That is the another way which we need to check. Let's assume that it's happening every 4 months or every 5 months. Now, instead of assigning this multiple permission set, what I can do is I can combine all together and I can create a permission set group. It is similar to your WhatsApp group. Instead of sending a message to the individual member, like you are going to spend a lot of time, right? Instead of that, create a group and send one message. Everybody should be able to see the information. So similar concept is applied here, permission set. So what I am doing is I'm combining all the permission set to the group. So what will happen next time whenever the user is joining the company, I simply assign this permission set group to the new member. If tomorrow if tomorrow is nothing but maybe after 2 years or 3 years, if client says that we need another permission set which need this additional access, and this permission should be applied to all the 10 users. All the 10 users. Right now, these 10 users has or 100 users has this permission set A set, B set 3. Right? These 100 users have all this permission set. Tomorrow, if they are assigning, if they are saying that we need another permission set and assign this permission set to 100 users. Now, do I need to spend here assigning the 100 users, going to the each user and assigning the permission set? Instead of that, what I can do is I can create a permission set simply assigned to the permission set group. So what will happen? It will automatically apply to all the users who are attached to this permission set group. Who are attached to this permission set group, we can assign it. Any questions on the permission set group? Okay, so let's go on. Creating a permission set, set up user permission set group. We have an option called new permission set group. So in the new, when we click on this button, we will see label, API name, description, and ultimately the session activation also required. This is also shows. But here only the information that we need to enter, mandatory information is label, name of the permission set. Click on enter that and create a permission set. So I'll create one of them. Let me log in into the admin permission set group. So here we have an option called new permission set group. So I'm creating that. Messy permission set group. Click on save. Once I click on a save, so what will happen? The record is created here. It has a 2 blocks, permission set, combined permission. That's all. So permission sets is if you wanted to include multiple permission set to the group, then permission sets in the group, click on that. Now add a permission set. If you wanted to add any permission set, app permission set, or if you wanted to add any other, which is new permission set, the one which I have created. So I'm adding the multiple permissions to the permission set group. Let's go back to the permission set group. Now, muting the permission set group. This is basically, for example, I have added here for 5 permission sets. I have added 5 permission sets to this group, and this group is assigned to the user. And whatever these changes are there, these changes are already moved into the production. Now, after that, after 1 year, client came back that saying that, can you update one of the permission set? Can you update one of the permission set? Now, one thing in the permission set group is, if we add 5 permission sets here, okay, if you go to the assigned apps, you will not know that which permission set is assigning the which access. Now, this is which access is assigning, I'll not be knowing it. So basically, I have a 5 permission sets. So I have the permission set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 permission sets are there. Okay. So I'm changing here object, some opportunity object, and here account object, and here I'm changing the apps, and here I'm changing the system options, and here I'm changing the Apex classes. Now, what are these permission sets are there? These all permission set I'm assigning to the permission set group. I'm assigning to the permission set group. Now, whenever I assign a permission set to the group, what will happen? ultimately permission set group, all the options, it will take all the options. It will combine all the options, whatever the highest and whatever the active ones are there, it will take everything. Now this combined into the single layout. Everything is combined and single layout. In this layout, I cannot tell this option where it came, this option where it came, who has enabled this option, who has enabled this option. Is this option is enabled by this permission set or this permission set or this permission set? I will not be able to tell in the permission set group. Okay, so it is not possible to identify this option is who enabled it. We cannot identify that. So what it will do, it will take all the highest permissions from the everybody, and basically it will create a layout, and this will be a permission set group. Now in future, if they come up saying that I need additional information, so what you can do is by clicking on the muting permission set, you can create one permission set. You can create a muted permission set. What is this muted permission set? Is basically, I don't want to impact the existing one. I don't want to impact the existing one, but I wanted to create a new one. So in that case, we can create a muting permission set group. Muting permission set group. Only one we can create it, not more than that. So what I did, I went to the permission set group. Okay, so I have created messy permission set group initially, and I have assigned the permission set. Now, in case I wanted to create another permission set, which I do not want to disturb the existing one. I do not want to disturb the existing one. What I did, I clicked on the muting permission set and I clicked on a new button and I have created it. Only one muted permission set you can create it, not more than that. Only one you can create it. Now you can open this. So this you will see only within the permission set group. Whatever the muting permission set group is there, this is within the messy PSG. Now if I go to this is similar like, now I can go to the object setting and I can update what are the permissions I want. What are the permissions I want, I can update it. Now I cannot see that muting here. Okay, that should be inside the, this is messy permission set group. And if I go to the muted one, so what will happen? This is another one which is created with messy PSG muted. Now this I wanted to apply additional access without disturbing the existing permission set. So what will happen if I change? No, I do not want to create a muted permission set. Now if you change anything, this existing permission set, what will happen? The impact will be on the permission set group, right? The impact will be permission set group. So it might apply, it might not apply. So instead of that, what you can do is you can create a muted permission set. So this scenario is very rarely in the real time. We will not be seeing this.
Ma'am, so once a permission set group has been created, so when we done any changes on those permission sets, so you are saying that it will impact or it will won't impact on the permission set group?
It will impact. Now, for
Okay.
example, I'm assigning this messy PSG. Let's go ahead and see. So now I'll assign this to the user. Before that, let me take out from this. Okay, so permission set, app permission set. I'll take out the user from the permission set, manage assignment. I'll click on this and I'll delete this user, remove it. Now let's go ahead and permission set group. Now I'm assigning the permission set group to the user. and assignment. No, perfect. Now next, click on assign. Done. Now the permission set group is assigned. Now I'll go back and I'll refresh. So let's suppose this user is able to see all the applications. Now what I want is, I wanted to remove the Samskar ID. Okay. So instead of, what I'll do is I'll go to the permission set. Now I have a permission set, app permission set. Assigned apps. And click on edit. Now I'll remove this Samskar ID. And also I'll remove one more thing. Let's take out the marketing. So click on save. Okay. So right now, the two apps which I have removed it. Now let me go ahead and refresh it. Samskar ID should go out. Refresh one more time. Okay, so click on. Right now we have changed on the Samskar ID, right? Samskar ID removed it. Okay. So why the marketing one did not go? Standard marketing. Let me take out. Why the marketing did not go away?
Ma'am, actually, there are two permission sets.
Right. Hmm.
If one is showing that marketing should be shown, that's why.
Yeah. That is the one. It will be impacted. That's what I'm saying. So the changes will be reflected on the permission set group. But whenever it is impacted on the permission set group, all the users gets impacted, right? All the users gets impacted. So before we making any changes on the permission set level, make sure it is communicated well with the clients, whatever we are making the changes. So we have to, because as soon as we change it because of one user, the 100 users will be impacted. So it has to be proper communicated, saying that if I make these changes, all the users related to this permission set who are owning it, everybody will get impacted. So properties of permission set group. Permission set group consists of one or more permission set. Permissions cannot be modified in the permission set group. This is standard Salesforce requested this one. So we should not be changing anything, though it is though the changes will be reflected, but better not to change anything once it is added to the permission set group. If permissions is modified in the permission set, then it impacts the permission set group. Now, if your group is having a 10 permission set, okay, my group is having the 10 permission sets. In that case, if I make it in one permission set, I don't know what all other permission set have access. Now, right now, the marketing one is still showing. Now, in this case, we have only 2 permission set. It is easy, go and verify and I can update it. But in the real time, when we have a 10 permission set within the group, we need to check everything, all the permissions we need to check instead of making 1 permission set, right? Because I need to make a changes into the 1 permission set. So whatever the 10 other permission sets are there, I need to analyze it. What is the other access it has? Now, if I wanted to make an account access, okay, 1 permission set has account access as a read access, and a 2 permission set has, okay, this object has a account read access, right? And this has a read create access. And this does not have any access to create. And this has all the access. And this has maybe other object information access is there. Okay. Now I'm making a changes wherever the account read only is there. I'm completely removing the read only. I'm completely removing the read only, because this is what it should be impacted on the permission set. Now, because I'm changing this, what permission set group does, it will not check only this changes, right? It is also going to check all other permission set, what the access is there for them. So you will not see those changes immediately. If this other permission sets also does not have any access on the account level, then your changes might work. Your changes might work. So whatever the changes we are doing it has to sync and cross verify what other permission sets are there. So everything we need to check. So this is fine, object level, field level, but assume that system level changes. If you make any changes on the system permissions, app permissions, right? Some custom permissions, if you make any changes on this permissions level, it is going to be the nightmare for the developers. Because I have changed 1 permission set, there is another impact because of other 4 permission set. So there is a lot of things which are going to happen. Instead of that, you can remove the permission set and check how it is working using that permission set group. So better remove this connection. Remove this connection and check how it is working the permission set group. Then based on that, if there is a possibility that I can add a permission set which will make changes for the requirement based on the client requirement, which I can make it, then go ahead and add the permission set.
Swapna?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the permission set group will have the highest permission from all the permission set, right? So can you go back to that other diagram which you drew? Yeah. So now the highest right is read all and view all, suppose. Okay, view all and modify all. Yeah. So in the permission set group, we will have the highest this one, right? Access. Not only
this is a read
or
only. For example, if this is a read only, this is created, this is edit,
yeah,
and the next one is view all. What this
yes.
does is this will take read, this will take create, this will take edit, this will take view all, modify all. Basically combine everything and it will say in the page layout, what are the permission set group layout is there, it will say create, edit, delete, view all, modify all.
No, I did not understand. See, you're saying all these access, okay, create, read, edit, and view all is there, okay?
Yes.
I'm assigning it to one user, okay? And now that user will have the highest access from all these, right? That is the view all or modify all, whatever. Correct? See, the permission set P1 is having only read access. Okay, and permission set 2 is having create access, suppose. Okay, only 2 permission sets are there. Okay, and these 2 permission sets are assigned to a permission group. Okay, and this permission group is assigned to a user, suppose Messi. Okay, so now since permission set 1 has read and permission set 2 has create access, so Messi will get create access, right? Read and create access both. right? That is what it is, correct?
Yeah.
That is the highest access he will get, not just read, but create as well.
Mhm. So
Am I
that's what I
correct?
have explained here. Yeah, that's what I have explained here. If
Okay.
this is having the read and this is having the create and this is edit, view all, modify all. So basically here it will take the read access because what are the true is there. Okay, this has a true in the read. This has a true in the create. This has a true in the edit. So all the trues will go to the permission set group. Now let me go and show you the permission set group. Now object settings. Now account level. So what it has read, create, edit, delete. I don't know which permission set is applying here, but as we have only 2 permission sets, so what I'll do is I'll go to the permission set overview. And here object setting, this is the app permission set. So let's go to the account. Let's give the account as a read access. Click on save. And we have created another permission set, which is a something new permission set. Go to the object setting. Account does not have anything. I'll just give delete. So what will happen? It gave me the read, edit, delete. So let's click on a save. Now let's go back to the permission set group. In the permission set group, object setting, account, read, edit, delete. All the permissions it has taken, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions before I move on? Any other questions?
What's the advantage of muted permissions?
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking.
Swapna, may I ask one more thing?
Yes,
Hello.
just a second.
Yeah.
Before that, permission set groups are maximum you can create. Permission set groups you can create maximum 1,000 you can create it.
In an entire org, right?
Yeah. Right. Yes, Archana.
Yeah. So in the can you go in the PPT, please? Yeah. So you mentioned that permissions can't be modified. Permissions can't be modified in permission set group, right? So this is just what you say. It's not a norm, correct? I mean, what you say? It's a best practice, correct? We can
Yes.
modify, but as a best practice, we shouldn't, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, we have a permission set group. Instead of creating permission set permission set group, we can create the permission set only in one permission set only give the all access and assign to the all users. It's fine. And then why we need to create the permission set group?
Can you repeat your question again?
We have permission set already there. Instead of permission set group, we have all the access extra access in the only one permission set, and give this permission set to the all users. That's fine. Or why we need to create that permission set group?
Yeah, that should be fine. If you have only one permission, then it is fine. You can go ahead and assign the user.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you have a multiple permission set which you are handling it, so the scenario which I have said, when we require a permission set is when we are assigning the multiple permissions to the single user, and every time you are maintaining this. So instead of doing this, better go ahead and create a permission set group. But if you have only one permission, you do not need it.
Okay, whenever we require to multiple permission set, then only it will be created, that permission set.
Whenever you have a multiple permission set, then only you need it. Group is nothing but a collection of permissions. It's not a one permission, collection of permission.
Ma'am, can you remove that permission set AMM in this group?
Yes, you can remove it. For example, right now we have added here. Okay, this is the permission set group. In this permission set group, I have two permissions are there. So for suppose I have added it by mistakenly. Now I wanted to delete it. So what you can do is you can go to the permission set group, and inside that we have an option called permission sets in the group. And here, for example, I wanted to remove new permission set, remove the new permission set. One permission set is removed.
Ma'am, what is the use of muted permission set?
Sorry, what is the use of?
Mute permission set group, is there one option?
Yes. So mute permission set is used to mute permission set. Like I have it. It is used to mute the permission set with the, like for example, I have an existing one. For example, if I have to take a real-time scenario, you have a subscriber org that uses the manage package. There is a package, okay? There is a package that package is nothing but a box. Whoever does not understand package is nothing but a, assume that it is a box, okay? That is containing the permission set group. That is containing the permission set group. So to use the existing permission set group, what they will do is the subscriber org can disable the permission with muting the permission set. That means instead of touching anything inside that permission set, they can disable certain options. That means I'm muting that. So there is a access which is extend. There is an access which everybody can use it, right? I wanted to mute it. That means I do not want to work that. For example, account, all the access is open. Now, suddenly they said that I do not want the account all access open. I wanted to mute that particular access. I wanted to mute that particular access. So instead of changing the permission set, okay, you can go ahead and mute that particular option inside the permission. It's something like you're switching off or you are muting it. So we can mute single permission or several permissions in permission set group. If you mute the permission in permission set group, only the permission in the group is muted. That's it. It's muted. Still the access is available. The other access is still available. But for now, I just wanted to, I don't want that particular access to be used by the user. Whoever is the permission set group is assigned to the users. Initially, we opened all the access, but right now I wanted to mute it. So instead of touching any existing permission set, what I can do is I can create one mute permission set. By using that, I can mute the permissions.
Yeah.
So suppose there is a user and we wanted to reuse any permission set, but we must remove and mute any specific access. So in that case, we can achieve it by using the mute permission set.
Yeah. Okay.
So those scenarios, muting permission set is very complex scenarios, like you are building a managed package. In that case, it is useful. Or you are building a certain package, you are building it. Or if you are pushing the certain access to the production or different org, in that case, basically it is a time saving. One of the benefit is time saving. Instead of you are modifying the existing and making the changes, everything better, if we use this muting, using this, we can use the time saving. So time saving approach, like we can remove the access, we can mute that particular access. And once client says that now we can open up the access, then we can open up. It's like a temporarily I'm doing that. So for temporary purpose, you can mute and remove the permission for a particular user. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So advantages is basically time saving, Rajkumar, basically the time saving. And for temporary, you wanted to hidden some access, you wanted to mute some access, and later you wanted to open up the access, right? In those cases, you can use this option. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So basically by using the muted permission, it will help you to save the time. Lot of time you can save it instead of modifying the and making instead of disturbing the existing permission set, you can just maintain it at the high level. Instead of removing the permission set and adding the another one, and better to use that option, and we can do that all the changes. That is very rarely used. Whenever we are doing the most of the times which I have seen is installed packages. During that time, we mostly play with this. And one users can have a multiple permission set groups. So basically using this permission set group, we can simplify user assignment to a permission set. So our time will be saved. Instead of me assigning the user to 10 permission set, right? Instead of doing that, I can simply assign one permission set. Any questions here before I move on? Okay, so let's move on roles. So roles is very important. Salesforce roles are record level access. It will control the record level access that defines what data a user can see in the Salesforce. Roles are always at the record level. Roles are always at the record level or a folder level. Some objects has a folder access, and basic objects like a account, contact, lead, opportunity, contract, cases, these are the record level access. There are some object reports, dashboard, those are the folder level. So roles are always have a access, play a role at the record level or a folder level, which controls what kind of a records that they can see it, what kind of a record they can view the information. So how can they see? So roles are designed to increase the data visibility, record level access visibility. Roles are designed to increase the record level access visibility to open up the access to Salesforce record. For example, user has a limited access. User has a limited access. Now I wanted to open up certain record level access. I wanted to open up certain record level access. In that case, what we can do is we can create a role and assign it to that. Now, using this, we can increase the record level visibility through the role hierarchy. we have a concept called role hierarchy in Salesforce. By using the role hierarchy, we can extend or we can increase the record level. Now, how that is going to happen? Let's take a general scenario. Whether it is a company or whether it is a supermarket, small business, big business, or any business you take it, whether it is small startup to the multi-level company, okay? Any company that has VP, right? Vice president. At the higher level, we'll be having a vice president. And for the vice president, there is a person, CEO, who is reporting to the vice president. CEO will be handling everything, whatever is happening within the company, right? Everything he has to take it. And for the CEO, there are few members who are reporting to the CEO, which is a CTO, technical, and CFO, financial. CTO and CFO will be reported. For the CTO, we have a certain member, solution architect, technical architect, and developer. These three members will be reported to CTO. And CFO has human resource head, and under that we have a recruitment manager, under that we have a recruiter. Now, if you look at the flow from the bottom to top, now we have a recruiters who are doing the interviewing, HRs or whoever is doing the interview. And there is a managers, recruiters are reporting to the managers, and managers are reporting to the human resource head, and human resource head is reporting to the CFO, and CFO is reporting to the CEO, and CEO is reporting to the VP. And similarly, we have a solution architect. Solution architect, assume that they are reporting to CTO. Right now, technical architect is also reporting to a CTO, and developer is also reporting to a CTO. Some companies have a different structure at the lower level, like a technical architect reporting to the solution architect, developers are reporting to the technical lead, or some leads will be there, consulting managers. Okay, that is a different direction. Assume that all of them are reporting to the CTO, technical officer. CTO is reported to the CEO, and CEO is reported to the VP. Now, whoever at the lower level, we have a recruiter. Lower level members will be having a less access. When I say less access, let's assume that I'm just taking a general example, like if you wanted to go for a leave or go for a vacation, or you are submitting some reimbursement in the company. Reimbursement is nothing but you spend some amount on behalf of the company. So you have submitted that bill to the company. So company has to pay you. Now your part is, you are at the lower level. Your part is to just submit that bill, but you will not have access to approve that. You will not have access to approve it. So this CTO will have a approve it, and CEO will have a additional access in a sense. From here, how much budget is they have submitted for the reimbursement, and from here, how many members are submitted for the reimbursement. Everything the CEO can see. So overall at the company level, how many members have spent on behalf of the company amount, how many members have spent. Now developer cannot know that how much recruiter has spent, right? And developer cannot know how much technical architect spent amount, but CTO will know. But CTO also spent some amount, right? CTO also spent some amount, but developer will not know how much amount spent by CTO. Who will be able to see? CEO will be able to see CTO, how much he spent, how much developer spent the amount, how much technical architect spent the amount, how much solution architect spent the amount. So everything can be seen by CEO. Similarly, CTO also can see how much this person is spent, how much this person is spent, how much this person is spent. But at the same level, you cannot know that what this person is spent the amount, what this person is spent the amount. You will not be knowing it, because you are at the same level. For example, if you are on top of solution architect, And if your solution architect is reporting to you, so in that case, you will know that how much amount is spent by the solution architect, only this person will be able to see. Now this person will not be able to see, right? If this user is reported to CTO, then in that case, CTO will be able to see. So the level of access from the lower level to the higher level, it is increased. Now this role will decide the position of the employee. Based on the position of employee, certain applications, certain access will be expanded. Based on your position, if your position is here, certain access is open for you. If your position is here, certain access will be open for you. But you will not be see all the access, whatever the CFO is able to see. You cannot see that. Similarly, in Salesforce also, we have a role hierarchy. We have a role hierarchy. Using the role hierarchy, if this user is seeing the 10 records, okay, possible that whoever is reporting to this person, because there are multiple persons will be reporting to this recruiter management. Let's take example of this. Now developer is able to see 10 records, technical architect able to see 10 records, and solution architect is able to see 10 records. Now ultimately CTO will be able to see 30 records plus whatever his records are there, 10 records. Whatever this CTO records are there, 10 records. So the access is increased, right? I'm not increasing the access at the profile level. I'm not increasing the access at the permission set level. I'm not increasing the access at the org-wide level. I'm using the role hierarchy. We are extending the access of record view. How many records they can see. The record level visibility, we are expanding it using the role hierarchy. Using the role hierarchy, we are expanding it. Now, when do we use the roles? We use it when we need an escalation. For example, now this person is not responded, developer is not responding. There is some email went to the developer, or there is some email went to the recruiter. Now there is one candidate is waiting for the recruiter response. Okay. Candidate sent a reminder email to the recruiter. Now I'm not getting any emails. So what I'll do? I'll escalate it to the manager. I'll escalate it to the manager. I'll call the manager saying that there is a second round intimation came, but I don't know the date. So I have sent a lot of emails for the recruiter. I'm not getting the response for that. So if manager is also not responding yet, probably will send an email to the human resource head. In case if this person is also not responding yet, if we know the CFO, what we will do, we will escalate it to CFO. If our CFO is our friend, then we will escalate it to CFO. Similarly, in the Salesforce also same. So in Salesforce, we have a certain cases. Okay, there is let's take a automobile industry. So there is one car came for the service. Okay. Now, when the service it came, we sent an email to the person when to pick up the vehicle. This person is not responding, or there is some damage is there on the car. So the person is not responding. We will send an email to the manager, and finally we will call the human resource and we will escalate it. So this escalation for the escalation. Now I need to know whom to escalate it, right? So when I'm sending my car for the service, if there is a damage is happening, the person is looking into it. Now what I'll do, I'll ask that person, who is your manager? Because I need to know who is your manager email, so that I can escalate certain information which I'm waiting for last 1 month. So for the escalation, we use it in the real time because we have a cases, right? Leads also there. For that, we use a escalation. Then we have sharing. Sharing is used whenever, for example, we have 3 users who are on the same role. We have 3 users who are on the same role. user 1, user 2, user 3. These 3 users are reporting to the one manager. Assume that there is a manager who is standing here. So this person, assume that the second person, whoever the second person is there, he is going on a vacation. He is going on a vacation for 1 week. But this user is dealing a very important issue or very important client. This user is whoever the person is there here, this person is dealing a very important issue or very important client he is dealing. Now he is going for 1 week vacation. So what this person should do? He cannot cancel the vacation. Now what this person do? He will share all his records to the person 1. And he will give all the information to the person 1, so that on the absence of whenever this person is not available, during that time the person 1 will take care of that client, till this person is back. So during that scenario we will use the sharing record. We will use a sharing record. And the third one is assigning it. So assume that instead of sharing, because sharing will be done either read view, okay? Instead of sharing, now this person 1 will say that better give all the things to me instead of me switching back to you. So what person 1 will say is, once you are back, should I need to give all the information back to you? So person 2 says yes. So person 1 will say that why you need to give, better I'll handle this client everything. Instead of switching back to you, I will take care of everything. So in that case, what this person will do, he will assign directly. Instead of sharing, assign it. That means you take care of everything till the end. Do not switch back to me. Do not switch the clients back to me. You take care of everything. So in that case, we will assign it. We will assign what are the cases or whatever is there, we will assign it. Now, how to create a role? Set up user roles. And we have to click on a add role. There is an option called add roles. So by default, whenever we create a org, by default system is going to assign a role. Okay, we will see that. Now this is whenever we click on a roles, here this is the understanding of roles. Set up your role hierarchy to control how your organization reports and access the data, access the records. Now sample role hierarchy. Now for territory-based records are, it's always executive staff, Western sales director, Eastern and international, and then we have some sales representative are there, and there are another one product based. Now there are 3 types are there. There are 3 types. First one is territory based. So this is territory based when we use it based on the location, area, country, geo location. Based on area, country, geo location. So basically this director is Western, the area, right? Location, the Western director. This is the Eastern director. This is the international sales director, right? This is the Western sales representative. This is the Eastern, based on the area, location. Because if our company is a worldwide, okay, my company is in Australia, in India, in Dubai, in Singapore, in New Zealand, Spain, everywhere I have, right? Based on the area, I'll be having a one manager dedicated to that. So if I wanted to implement, right, in that case, we will go for the territory based sample, because based on the area, location, I wanted to handle this role hierarchy. You can go with the territory based. And the second one is product based role. This is based on the line of a business. So when it is a line of a business, is nothing but there is no area division or there is nothing. For all location, only one member, whether it is a India, Australia, Sydney, Dubai, whatever it is, right? So all will be only one member who is handling everything. So basically there is a one person for the hardware related one person and software related one person. This hardware related person will be reporting to vice president of whatever the hardware vice president is there, right? And there is only one line direction. There is no multiple line direction. Only one line direction, whether you are working in Dubai or wherever, whatever the area it might be, only one line of direction. So in that case, go with the product based sample. Now the third one is company size based. So company size based is a custom division. Now custom division is also one line, but in case if you have a more in detailed role hierarchy, you need it. Okay, in detailed role hierarchy you need it. So in that case you can go with the company sized based sample. Most of the scenario that I have seen is territory based sample because multiple companies are in the different areas. Now this is the screen you will see, and by default this screen will come. In case if you do not want to see this page, just click on this. Okay, then click on is setup roles. Click on a setup roles. When you click on a setup roles, by default you will be having a certain the role hierarchy will be there because Salesforce by default it creates. Salesforce by default it creates because CEO, CFO, COO, SVP, VP, all these are standard for any company. So Salesforce is by default creates these roles. Okay, so here I have a Samskar ID. I have a Samskar ID. Now, for example, if I wanted to delete this CEO, I wanted to delete CEO. If I wanted to delete CEO, it says, are you sure you wanted to delete? So I'll click on delete. So what will happen? It will not allow the parent roles cannot be deleted because there are child roles are there. There are child roles which are reporting to the CEO. If you want to delete CEO, first delete the child. First delete the child. So that means from the bottom, you need to keep on coming the delete, 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 delete. So I need to delete this Western sales first. Then I have to delete the Eastern. Then I have to delete the director. Director sales. Right? So like this, I need to keep on deleting. Then I have to come here. So any questions before I move on? We'll see the assigning the roles tomorrow, but let's understand today. But in case if you wanted to change, you can change it. You can delete, you can assign the role, right? So if you wanted to clean up this existing one, so you have to do delete one by one. Any questions before I move on? Role assignment, we will do it tomorrow. Because I need to clean up everything this. Okay, so let's move on. Profile versus role. So this is the interview question. Most of the interviews will ask what is the difference between the profile and role. So profile, as we know that profile determines what user can do. Create, read, edit, delete. A role determines what user can see, record visibility. It's a record visibility. Profile is a user must have a profile assigned. Whereas the role, it's optional. You need not to have a mandatory for the user to assign the role. There is no mandatory. But profile, it is a mandatory. Grouping users with the similar function. You can group it, multiple users with the similar functions. That means multiple users will be handling the same profile. It is possible in the real time. There are multiple users are assigned for the same profile. Role is based on your hierarchy level. Where are you standing as per the position? Based on the position, it will be assigned record level access, the authority of viewing the record, right? And based on that, it will be assigned. And it profile controls the access to the object, field, security, page layout, record types, apps, tabs. Whereas role is controls the records and the folders. So these are the maximum differences. And roles properties are one user is assigned to one role. One user is assigned to one role, whereas one role is assigned to multiple users. Because when you go to the user level, you can add only one role. When you go to the user level, you can add only one role. So for example, if I go to the user, now let's go to the Messi. Now when we edit it, I can assign only one role. But whereas if I go to the roles, if I go to the role hierarchy, in the role hierarchy, when I say assign, I can assign multiple users. I can assign multiple users. So one role can report to one higher management. One role can report to one higher management. That means right now the developer is reporting to the CTO, right? So I cannot report, I'm already reporting to CTO. I cannot report to CFO again. So there is no two reportings, only one reporting will be there. So one role can be report to only one role. So parent role cannot be deleted directly if there are child roles. So right now we have seen that I cannot delete the parent role. So for now, I need to clean up all the child roles. Topmost organization name cannot be deleted. Topmost is nothing but I have a topmost is Samskar IT. I have a topmost is Samskar IT. Now for the Samskar IT, I cannot delete it. I do not have an option to delete here. I do not have option to delete. Now if I delete all of this also, probably I might get a edit option, but delete option, I will not get it. Delete option, I will not get it. So topmost one, we cannot delete it. Now the conclusion, what did we learn so far?
Permission sets, permission set groups, mutual permission sets,
Profile versus permission set,
roles,
roles.
profile versus roles.
Okay, so today's main topic is permission set group, roles. So these three, for the interview purpose, this is very important. Questions. What is permission set in Salesforce?
It is extra level of permission that we can give into a user apart from a profile.
Extending the functionality of the users without changing the profile. What all can be controlled in the permission sets?
Apps, object, system.
Object, fields, user permission, tab setting, app.
Like Visualforce pages.
Yeah. What is the differences between the profile and permission set?
One
Profile can tell what users can do.
user have one profile, but profile has more restrictions settings. Permissions.
Profile can have least level of permissions to a user.
Okay, that is the first option. Permission set is extendable. What are other?
So user
Every
can
user
have
must
multiple
be
permissions.
assigned to a profile.
A user can be assigned to one profile, whereas permission set.
Can have multiple.
It's not necessary for every user.
It's optional actually.
Yes. And what are others?
Profile license is mandatory. Permission set license is not mandatory.
Yeah. How many permission sets can we link to user?
One permission set.
There is no restriction to set one permission set, maximum how many you want. So how many permission sets we can create it?
200.
200. How many permission set groups we can create it?
1,000.
Can I create a permission set without selecting a license?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
What is a profile?
Which tells what user can be done. What
So
is
what user can do, create what, created it, deleted, something like that.
Yeah, what user can do. And what is a role? What is a role?
User can record the visibility.
which gives
What
a-
a user can see in Salesforce.
What user can see. It is basically a record level access.
So based on the role hierarchy, what user can see in the Salesforce. So record level. So example, top hierarchy can see all the records owned by all the users below them. At the lower level, they cannot see the records owned by other users or other members. Homework 1, create a new permission set. So clone the minimum access Salesforce profile. There is a minimum access Salesforce profile and name it as a Salesforce minimum access. Create a new user, first name Hemant, last name Kumar, user license is Salesforce, profile is Salesforce minimum access. Create a permission set. Now this is the user creation. First we created the profile. Then we have created the user. Now permission set. Create a temporary account edit. So API name, temporary account edit, and the checkbox. First check it and cross verify how it is impacting it. Then uncheck this. License none and object account. What are the account level read edit access is there. So modify all and assign this permission set to Hemant. Homework 2, create a permission set, email permission, API name, email permission, checkbox. Check it and see what is impacting it, then uncheck. License, no license is required. Assign this permission set to the Hemant. So this is a email permission. Before that, we were having a account level permission. And the third one, create a permission set group. Label is PSG. Check this checkbox, session activation required, and see how it is impacting it. And then uncheck it, license null, assign this permission, assign these permission set to permission set group. In homework 1, 2, you have created a 2 permission sets, email permission, temporary account edit permission. So assign this to permission set group. Now remove all the permissions from the Hemant user and add the permission set group. Add the permission set group. Then see how it is behaving by logging into that user. Homework 4, create a role hierarchy. VP on top level, whatever you have at the top level, let it be there. And below that, create a VP, and below VP, CEO, and below CEO, CTO, and CTO below solution architect, technical architect, and developer. So developer is reporting to the technical architect is reporting to the solution architect, and solution architect is reporting to CTO, CTO is reporting to CEO, and then VP. And here, in solution architect, create one more here, let's say functional architect. create a solution architect, functional architect, and both are reporting to the solution architect is reporting to CTO, functional architect is also reporting to CTO. And then we have a CFO at the same level of CTO, CFO, human resource head, and then we have a recruiting manager and recruiters. So this is the role hierarchy. Create the role hierarchy, keep it ready tomorrow. And this is the trial heads. The first one is a so the first one, these all are whatever we have discussed: permission set, data security, session based. Okay, I'm thinking in the chat. So whatever we have discussed today, that everything will be covered here. Okay, any other questions? Okay, then. Thank you. We are done with the session. If there are no questions, thank you.